Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio, so today I'm going to be showing you a new GX Pokemon that we didn't really see coming. It's Alolan Ninetales GX. Now, everybody loves Alolan Ninetales. Everybody loves Ninetales. Alolan Ninetales is just one of the most popular Pokemon from the new Sun and Moon game, so I suppose it makes sense that he gets one, although poor Mimikyu. Now, first off, we need to have a quick look at Alolan Vulpix, because that is a Pokemon from whom Ninetales evolves, and it's got a free attack, and it's a very good free attack. It allows you to search your deck for up to 2 Pokemon, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Now, it's a 60 HP basic. It's got all the downsides that all these basics have. But as a free attack, this is pretty gosh darn nice. Now, what'll often happen is that you'll search for, I don't know, maybe a second Vulpix and then an Alolan Ninetales, and your opponent will just play an N, so you don't have those cards for next turn. Well, that's alright, because there have been plenty of Pokemon in the past who allowed you to get a new hand of 6 cards as their attack, who saw a bit of play, so I'm totally okay with this. If this attack just says your opponent ends you, I'm cool with that. Now, in terms of Alolan Ninetales GX itself, Water type is pretty good. Decidueye is really starting to take over the format as I record this video, which means we're going to see a rise in decks like Volcanion, Fire decks that have a water weakness, so of course water decks can come along and prey on that, which is kind of useful. Water is also good because you can use Rough Seas to heal 30 damage per turn, but of course the most important thing about water typing is Aqua Patch. Now this is just Dark Patch for water Pokemon. It allows you to attach a water energy from your discard to a benched water Pokemon. Now I did a video about this the other day, and in that video I told you that Water Patch is going to be amazing, and it is, so go check out that video. Link in the description. Now, 210 HP is standard for a Stage 1 GX, but one thing which is really important here is the weakness to metal. Now, I know some of my viewers say, oh, do you have to go through weakness and resistance every time? The answer is, unfortunately, yes, it's important, but here it is doubly important, because a lot of water Pokemon are weak to grass. Lurantis, Decidueye, not good. But of course, in the video games, Alolan Ninetales is an Ice-type Pokemon, which means that in the card game it becomes water, but is weak to metal. This is very nice because maybe you're playing Lapras in your deck, the grass weakness really hurts, so you play Alolan Ninetales to cover that weakness. The only really good metal Pokemon we have at the moment is Scizor, and that really isn't seeing a huge amount of play. And just as a bonus, Retreat cost of 1 is nice, but you're likely to be playing Manaphy EX and having free Retreat anyway. Now the first attack here is so tantalizingly close to being good. Double Colorless Energy, Ice Blade. 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Don't apply weakness and resistance to the bench. And this is so close to being good, because if this was 60 damage, then you'd be KOing Fomantis, you'd be KOing Rowlet, it would be amazing. 50 damage doesn't KO them. Now it still KOs things like Rattata and Magikarp, so it's not terrible, but it's far from an amazing attack. And if it did 60, I would absolutely love it. Now don't forget you can also use Aqua Patch to get this going nice and quickly. And I suppose if you're playing just an Alolan Ninetales deck, you could use both Aqua Patch and Double Colorless Energy. Although you're likely to be playing this with other Pokemon, other water Pokemon, so really you're not going to be playing Double Colorless, you're probably just playing Aqua Patch. At the end of the day, though, don't sleep on this attack. It's not an attack around which to build a deck, but just as my opponent's retreated, they've got 40 HP remaining, I don't want to waste my Lysander, then you can just get a KO. It's always nice to be able to take cheeky bench KOs, so this is not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. Now the main attack here is the second one, 2 water, 1 colorless energy, 160 damage, discard 2 energy attached to this Pokemon. And really, the big question with this attack, is it better than Lapras GX's attack? Because Lapras GX is a basic Pokemon, If you pop a Fighting Fury bout on Lapras, which you can do to Lapras but not Alolan Ninetales, Lapras now has more HP. And of course Lapras is a basic, so you can use Max Elixir. So, Alolan Ninetales, 160 for Water Colourless, discard 2 energy. Lapras GX, 160 for Water Colourless, but you can't use the attack the following turn. Now, in terms of Lapras not using the attack the following turn, you can just play something like Pokémon Ranger, or just retreat into a different Lapras. So, as much as I like Alolan Ninetales here, I think Lapras probably has the better attack. Now, either way, you can use Choice Band, which allows you to do 30 more damage to EXs and GXs. You're now doing 190, and this is really good. 190 is a good one to hit, because you're KOing basic EXs, and you're getting rid of basic GXs. Of course, all EXs are basic. And combined with a Professor Kukui, it hits 210, so it gets things like Mega Gardevoir and your Stage 1 GXs like Gumshoes or Umbreon. But the thing is here, even though Alolan Ninetales can use Aqua Patch to recover this energy, it's still not stunning. Now, the good news is, it says discard 2 energy, not 2 water energy. So if you're playing double colourless with Alolan Ninetales, you can just discard the double colourless, and then next turn attach and discard the double colourless. You don't have to be discarding your water energy, but it's most likely you're playing this with things like Lapras and Aqua Patch, and honestly, discarding 2 energy every turn, sooner or later that's going to get tiresome. And most of the time, being able to use the same attack with a basic, but just having to retreat or play Pokémon Ranger rather than discarding the energy, I really do think is going to be better. But another thing that Alolan Ninetales has going for it is the GX attack. And I love the GX attack. 2 energy, so double colourless or 1 energy plus Aqua Patch. Move all damage counters from this Pokemon to your opponent's active Pokemon. Now this reminds me of a couple of things. Firstly, it's like Mewtwo EX's damage change, but it's one-sided. They get your damage counters, you don't get theirs. But the other thing it reminds me of is Tauros GX's Mad Bull GX attack. Because it basically says to your opponent, you've got to one-hit KO me. And if you don't one-hit KO me, you are always going to be at risk of me taking a KO while I heal myself. So let's say they only hit you for 120 damage. Well, next turn you can Lysander a Shaman on your opponent's bench and completely heal yourself while taking 2 prizes. It's a really nice GX attack. It's much better than Lapras's GX attack. And I know I keep comparing Alolan Ninetales to Lapras, but the point is that the attack you are most going to be using for both Pokemon is very, very similar. But this is why you want to use Alolan Ninetales, because you've got free energy on Alolan Ninetales, you do 160 and discard 2, they do a bunch of damage, and then you attach a second energy and you just get to use your GX attack straight away. And of course, let's not forget that Alolan Vulpix has a really nice attack. So, I love the GX attack. The first attack can take cheeky bench KOs. We've got Alolan Vulpix's really nice attack. It's got a much better weakness than Lapras, but most of the time I still prefer Lapras, and it's a basic. So I'm going to give Alolan Ninetales 3 Wassies. And I'd like to be wrong. I'd like to think it will be better than this, but I just look at all of those attacks and I think cheeky bench KO good. I think GX attack useful in some situations, but most of the time I'd just rather be attacking with Lapras, who's the same type, but is a basic, and doesn't have to keep discarding and recovering energy. Now, you know the deal, ladies and gentlemen. There is a comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. There are buttons to both like this video and subscribe to my channel. I would be delighted if you would use them both. You can follow me on Twitter @TheWassy, and the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.